Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another podcast. We are Steven, Chelsea, and Isaac. We are here, the first three-person podcast since 2021, let's say. That sounds about right. Maybe,
Probably,
no, that was COVID.
No, yeah, that's COVID. I think 2019 or early 2020.
No, Freya was baking at the time, so I feel like it would have to be maybe like early summer 2020.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds about right.
Well, it doesn't matter. But I don't think Reyna was born yet because we had.
No, Reyna definitely was born because there was a Super Saiyan God joke I was making during the anime one. That if you had brought Reyna with you, we would have had enough people in the room to go human god.
Oh, yeah.
So I know Reyna was born, and I'm like pretty confident Freya was baking because otherwise I wouldn't have thought to make the joke.
Okay, yeah. Also, I was not around in 2021, so...
You weren't born yet?
Nope. I was also still
I suppose
baking.
in a manner of speaking, that's true, yeah. Well, today we are hitting a topic that we actually surprisingly have never hit. We've done stuff related to this. We've talked about morning cartoon intros. We've talked about anime intros, and this is like kind of related to that. But we've never just like talked superheroes together.
Yeah.
Nope.
Forgive us if our timing's a little off. We are recording separately, but together, and we can't see each other to like gauge reactions. I suppose we could potentially
I can make you see
pull up
me.
cameras, but I don't like the way you said that.
You're welcome for the interesting commentary, by the way. You know, we're really bouncing off each other very well.
It's daytime now.
Classic.
Oh. Hey, Isaac.
Hello.
It's nighttime now.
I don't have a camera.
I am repping superheroes with my Stan Lee Spider-Man shirt here,
I'm wearing a blue shirt.
which reps superheroes that wear blue.
Yeah.
We'll probably be talking about at least one of those today.
I'm repping a Legend of Zelda shirt, so...
Wow, that's a hero of time, which is basically a superhero.
I'm pretty sure all of my heroes except one actually have blue in their costumes.
That's a good point. I don't know. That one doesn't. That one definitely does. That one 100%. It's in their name.
Well,
Also,
I know who that
okay,
is.
yeah.
The one hero.
Blue Dabba D.
Yes. Blue Dominee, that's what I was talking about.
But
So
yeah,
this'll
today we're gonna be
be-
talking about our. Oh, go ahead, Chelsea.
This will be interesting because I'm pretty sure I already know both of your number ones.
Mine is not hard to guess if you know anything about me.
Yeah. I think Chelsea and I actually talked about it in one of our recordings.
I think I know Chelsea's number one. Isaac, you're kind of the wild card to me, and I'm actually very excited about your list because I feel like I know some things that are on it, but I couldn't tell you what order, and I couldn't tell you exactly. Like, I wouldn't be able to list off your list by any means.
And in fact, as you're saying that, I'm actually changing the order of a couple things real quick.
Always a wild card.
Yeah. Always a wild card.
I just realized that as I've grown older, some of my tastes have changed, so...
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Like, I think at one point, I can't speak for all of us, but, like, I think at one point we probably all had, like, most, like, teenagers do, like, you kind of want your superheroes a little bit edgier at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we've almost all kind of come together and been like, the world kind of sucks. Let's go for some like actual like good people in here that like are something to aspire to versus like, yeah, that guy's just like what I can see going down the street right now.
Gotta remove Homelander from my list now.
Yeah.
Well, guess my number one's gone, guys.
Yeah, because I definitely like. I remember reading Watchmen when I was in high school, and Watchmen is definitely an interesting story. But like those aren't the superheroes you want to look up to. That's the cynical view of like if the government ran superheroes and things like that. It's not. It's not. It's an interesting like take on superheroes, but it's not a fun world to live in.
Oh, definitely not. I haven't read all of Watchmen, but I know enough about it to be like, yeah, that wouldn't be fun.
Yeah, like it's a good story, but it's a cautionary tale, not the one that you're like, that's my favorite superhero. Rorschach, he's a good guy. It's like, like morally, he might be kind of in the right, but that's also questionable when you break everything down. Like, I don't want to live in a superhero world where every question is, do the ends justify the means?
Yeah.
That's when we get into some real gray stuff. So unsurprisingly, my superhero list is not filled with very many, like, if any, like, anti-heroes. There might be a couple dark edges in there at times, depending on who's writing in the story. But that's all superheroes, like...
Yeah.
And that's another... I feel like that's another good point about superheroes, is, like, there are a lot of good stories out there, that, like, my favorite superhero might not be part of, like, one of my favorite comic book stories of all time, because, like, something is just so well written. And vice versa. My favorite superhero might be in some really bad stories, but, like, they're in such good ones and their character's so good that they transcend that story itself.
Yeah, I know what it's like to have my favorite superhero in bad stories.
Yes. Like I said, I'm pretty certain I know your number one, and your number one, if I'm right, has been in some bad stories, but some really interesting ones too.
My number one's only been in one story, and it's arguably pretty bad. So.
Oh, fair enough.
Hold on a second. I thought you told me you're number one, and now I'm questioning that.
So how do we actually want to? Does anybody else have anything to say, or do you want to kind of jump into some like honorable mentions?
I think we can jump into the honorable mentions. I've got 10 of them. So what if we
you're the honorable mention one this time.
What if we have a round robin and I'll start? Because
why don't you go ahead and start off?
I'll go. I ordered mine too for no reason, but
mine are not ordered. I will say.
Oh, that. I guess mine aren't really ordered. But Moon Knight is on my honorable mentions.
Okay.
Whoa.
Should I do all of them and then you guys go, or are we gonna?
Yeah, go ahead and just hit those, because
spoiler alert.
Some of mine are gonna get mentioned later.
Blue Beetle is on my honorable mention list.
Nice.
Aquaman, Tim Drake.
Okay.
Specifically.
Okay.
Terry McGinnis.
Who's had like 7 different identities.
Yeah, Terry McGinnis, who's Batman Beyond.
Oh yeah.
Supergirl, Raven. Beast Boy, especially together in those stories. They're pretty cool. Superman is on my honorable mentions, and then John Kent is also on my honorable mentions.
John Kent.
He's Superman's son.
That's like... Yeah. Okay. Vaguely familiar. I'm a little off on like modern superhero or Superman lore.
Yeah. And that's it.
Chelsea, do you want to hit next, or if you have any, or I can hit my list?
Yeah, I've got a couple. Only 2, really.
Okay.
That I'm just thinking of off the top of my head now, because I wasn't expecting honorable mentions.
There's always honorable mentions. Have you met me?
You're not wrong. Well, my first honorable mention is Superhero Static Shock. I loved that show as a kid, and I loved how his like outfit changed throughout the seasons. And
he gets put in like new superhero stuff every now and then too. Like he was in Young Justice as well.
Mm-hmm. And then my second is Kamen Rider, which, I've only just started, so I haven't seen.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely not making my top 5 because I've only seen the first Kamen Rider series so far, and as handsome and as charismatic as Hongo is, he's not the most interesting character, like, at all.
Fair.
But I'll talk about that more in a video coming up. But I'll also say that I'm just excited to get into more of it, especially like just because some of them look really cool. Like, I'm just gonna post this picture real quick of a future one called Kamen Rider Geats.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he looks really cool.
Kind of looks like what some anime have taken their superhero inspirations from.
Oh, definitely. Kamen Rider is like a huge inspiration for a lot of stuff in Japan. Like Kamen Rider was the first to like do the thing where he announces his attack.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my 2 honorable mentions.
Okay. Well, as you two have probably kind of experienced as well, like growing up in the 90s, we watched a lot of superhero cartoons. There was Batman, Superman, Justice League, X-Men, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, and even some bad ones like Avengers and Silver Surfer, and then a whole slew of different versions of like every one of those superheroes except for... I think there's only really... Well, no, there's another Justice League cartoon now, like Justice League Action or whatever it's called. And there's stories I've loved with all those characters, but I wouldn't necessarily call all of them my all-time favorites or anything. So I wanted to make it clear that I had to distinguish, as I mentioned, that if a story was really good or if a character was actually one of my favorites. Like, there's Batman versus Aliens is a very fun story, but as much as I like Batman doesn't quite crack my top 10, or I guess it's my top 5 in this case.
Yeah.
Batman probably would crack my top 10. But like Batman is cool. The X-Men are cool. But none of the X-Men make my list. Thor is really cool, especially depending on like what story you're reading. And I definitely remember when I was really collecting comic books, there was like a young Jean Grey story that was like an alternate reality that was all about her knowing that she was going to become the Phoenix. And she was doing everything she could, going to different superpowered beings, going to different mutants who had psychic powers, and trying to prevent becoming the Phoenix, essentially. So I was like, that's a really cool story, but is Jean Grey my favorite, like one of my favorites, or is she just like in a really good story kind of thing?
Yeah.
But yeah, so like those are kind of my quick honorable mentions. I've got a few more as we go because like they're very related to a superhero that I'll mention. But until then, who wants to do their number 5?
I'll go first.
Okay, sure.
My number 5 is actually Batman.
Nice.
Okay. I mean, Batman's dope. A lot of good stories. Like,
yeah, absolutely. I think the only reason Batman is so low for me on this list, though, is because I'm getting kind of sick of him.
yeah. I could definitely see that.
Like, he's had a great cartoon, he was also great in Justice League. He's had so many great video games, and he's had some good movies too. Like Dark Knight, The Batman more recently. I'm just sick of him.
Yeah.
Eddie is kind of everywhere, even outside of movies and cartoons. Like, you ask like somebody like to name a superhero, somebody's gonna mention Batman. Like,
Yeah.
And he's also in the public domain now. So there's a JoJo fight in Part 6 that involves Spider-Man, and they replace him with Batman because he's public domain now. So
Interesting.
he's even invaded JoJo.
I don't think Batman's quite in the public domain.
Oh no.
No, Batman and Superman go into the public domain in 2034 and 35, respectively.
Oh.
Oh wow. Okay, never mind then. I don't know why they changed it then.
Yeah. Maybe either different like holds on copyright rules depending on how things got copyrighted, or easier use of a name or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I could have sworn they got into the public domain, though. I'm a fool, though. I know nothing. I may look like a silly clown, but I won't turn my back on life, though.
You said a lot of words.
I'll go next.
Yeah.
All right. Go for it.
My number 5 is Static Shock.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
I think he's a pretty unique hero. And I also like the way his costume changes throughout the stuff. Yeah. I don't have a whole lot more to say on it.
Yeah, I didn't actually watch a lot of Static Shock. I love when he appears in other media. Like I mentioned, he's a very minor character in Young Justice for like season 2 or something. Mm-hmm. But I love seeing him in like when he appeared in like the future episodes of Justice League, or like I saw some like Justice League characters cross over into Static Shock at the time.
Yeah.
So like stuff like that is really cool, and I think it's really cool that he has endured so long.
Yeah.
Especially for being like, I believe, a TV original character. So to have lasted so long in the comic book medium because of popularity, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I think he is like original to the show, to the TV, except that he's also kind of Black Lightning, but like for obvious reasons they didn't want to use that name for a kids show, I guess.
Yeah, I think he's a similar concept, but I think like an entirely different character.
Yeah, even though that show totally does go into racial issues, so.
Oh, for sure. Like in Young Justice, I believe Black Lightning actually mentors Static.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some cool stuff. I kind of mentioned I don't have like a lot of dark, edgy characters on my list. I do have one. And like while I can't really get behind characters like the Punisher, I find them mildly interesting, at least because like I don't think a hero should kill unless like there's just absolutely no other choice. Mm-hmm. Like almost every superhero on my list I think has killed at some point, but it's usually like an accident or last resort kind of scenario.
Yeah.
But like it should be the exception, not the rule for a character, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. People who idolize characters like the Punisher honestly scare me.
Yeah.
I don't think it's wrong to find him to be an interesting character. Like if you look at him a certain way, he's almost a version of Captain America that got shaped by like the Vietnam era versus like the World War II era, just like how people viewed like a hero at the time. Yeah. And I find that fascinating that like the same idea could spin into such a different kind of character. That said, I've got Daredevil on my list basically for the cool factor.
Yeah.
Oh, Daredevil is so cool.
Yeah. I'm the kind of guy who likes power with a cost. Blind man with enhanced senses using his hearing like a radar, able to dodge a bullet before it's left the gun is just a really cool concept. Being able to read because he can feel ink on newspaper because it's just barely raised off the paper. Being able to tell it's going to rain because you can smell the shift in ozone. Plus, this guy was just trained as a ninja. Yeah. So, like, being able to read your opponent's moves by feeling shifting in the air. Like, he's just really cool.
And he's a lawyer.
The biggest downside... Yes, I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay.
The biggest downside to Daredevil for me is how dark his stories can get.
Yeah.
He's a really cool character, but because his powers are on the weaker side, you have to keep him street level most of the time, which means you've got to go for more dramatic stories, which is good, but it can be really compelling, but it can be really hard to read, and it can lead to a lot of sadness and aura farming. The fact that he's a lawyer too is honestly pretty awesome. I love that he fights for justice in every way he can. I always loved when he appears in like Spider-Man or Fantastic Four. And while I don't think it's an amazing movie, I still like the like 2000, I think 2003, 2004 Daredevil movie. That movie was my jam when it came out. I loved it. Now it's pretty dumb, but like I still like it.
Yeah.
And I even like seeing him back in like there's a TV movie called The Trial of the Incredible Hulk where they were like trying to do a backdoor pilot for a Daredevil show at the time. And Matt Murdock is his lawyer. So like sometimes just like his character is literally just representing other superheroes in the courtroom. And I just think that's a really cool concept. Like when the She-Hulk series came out on Disney Plus, what I really wanted out of it, like it was goofy, it was fine. I liked it better than a lot of people did. But what I wanted was kind of a courtroom drama featuring superheroes, and they didn't lean into it as much as they could have.
Yeah,
but I like that aspect of Daredevil.
Yeah, I've got a couple things to say about that. The old Daredevil movie, one when I was a kid, Bullseye just scared the shit out of me. You know, like
He's so funny. He's so funny though.
I know, but I scared easily as a kid.
I know.
Like, but like, you know, when he like kills that old woman by flicking a peanut in her throat, I was like, oh god, you can die that way.
And he leads into the flight attendant and goes, "More peanuts, please." And he's like, "I'm Bullseye." Pointing to his forehead like a freak. Oh man, I can see why it might have scared you as a kid. He's so funny. He's part of why I like that movie. He's so funny.
I haven't seen it since, honestly. I just hear people say, "Oh man, that movie was so bad." You know,
I don't think it's that bad. The problem is too many movies of that era were trying to be the first Spider-Man movie. And they all did it badly.
But yeah, if that's all you got to say, then I'd also like to say that I absolutely agree with the no kill rule thing. I definitely prefer superheroes who have that. That's a problem I've kind of always had with the MCU, is that pretty much all the superheroes kill too much.
I would, yeah, for the most part, I agree. Like, they live in this world where, like, they're not trying to kill, like, the villains, but I do have an issue in Endgame where Spider-Man says, activate instant kill mode. I'm like, I understand what they're getting at. These are, like, mindless aliens, but Spider-Man should never say the words, activate instant kill mode.
Yeah, definitely. Anyways, my number 4 is Punisher. No, I'm kidding. My my number 4 is Martian Manhunter.
Oh,
really?
Awesome!
I didn't know that was anybody's favorite superhero. I mean, it's not your favorite, but like, I wouldn't have expected that on anybody's list.
Oh, I love.
He's a cool character.
Yeah, I love him in Justice League, the animated series. And you know, very disappointed in him in the Snyder cut. You know, but you know, it's the Zack Snyder verse, so
at least he made an appearance in that one versus not even. There was no appearance in the Joss Whedon version.
Yeah, I mean, who can really be happy with the Zack Snyder universe aside from maybe, like, Cyborg fans?
The first Wonder Woman movie is good. I like that one.
True.
And the second Suicide Squad movie, the James Gunn one, is good.
Yeah. Yeah, I really love his whole fish out of water thing. His shape-shifting abilities are cool, especially since he's, like, so unfamiliar with, like, the culture of Earth and everything. So, like, he can shapeshift, but it's difficult for him to still fit in. And his like full-on alien form is also pretty cool. I really like his design, and yeah, you know, Martian Manhunter's just really cool.
Yeah. I like his character in Young Justice as well. Miss Martian is a main character in that show who is like his kind of niece. So he plays a mentor to her for a lot of it, and so you get to kind of see that side of him, which I like.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I like Young Justice. I don't think I mentioned it on any point on here, but I've already talked about it several times, so I should just bring up that it's a good show.
Is that also a cartoon?
It is also a cartoon.
Okay.
It's like if you were to blend Justice League and Teen Titans together.
Okay.
It's surprisingly like dark, gritty concept, but like still on the heroic side. There's a lot of like espionage kind of stuff to it, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Isaac, you went next, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
My
so number 4.
My number 4 is Nightwing.
Okay.
I like the fact that a sidekick actually became his own hero and kind of stands on his own 2 feet, and he shows up in other stories. He kind of, in some of them, plays like a older sibling type character often. I think especially with, I think it's Damien that happens with, but I could be wrong. But it's pretty cool. And yeah. Just good character. Original Robin, pretty great.
Nightwing is really cool. Obviously, has been a team leader in terms of like Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Has actually been Batman. When Batman was dead for a while, theoretically. I didn't read that story too hard, but I know he took on the cowl for a while, and he was honestly like the only person I could see taking over that mantle properly after Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Everybody else, I think, needs their own title, but Nightwing can definitely hold his own as Batman.
Yeah.
And like knowing Isaac, I should have known this would show up.
Yeah. Plus, you got the aura farming there as well. Nightwing's definitely got that feel. You can't say he's not like seeing the silhouette of him standing on like a rooftop holding like his like staves isn't a cool look. The like logo in blue is probably my favorite look, but he's had a good red one as well.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, but he's had some really bad looking costumes too. There's one from like when he first became Nightwing that has like gold shoulder pads. It's bad. It's not a good look.
And of course, Nightwing, another character done absolutely fantastic by Injustice.
Also, he's one of the main characters in Young Justice, so
that was a joke, by the way. Damian Wayne throws a stick at him. He falls down and hits his head on a rock and dies.
Oh, wild!
Awesome. Nice. Nobody has anything to say after that.
So, Steven, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Superman.
Okay.
Superman is the ultimate superhero. He is the model. And what happens when you mess with the model? You get shoddy material. People who don't like Superman don't get Superman. If all you see him is a person with every superpower who can't be defeated unless you have a green rock, you have missed the point. He's interesting because despite all his power, he loves humanity. He's what happens if God was raised by humans and instilled with kindness. He's what everybody should want to be. He's also a bit of a measuring stick, because everybody knows how strong Superman is, that like when something happens to him, you know things have gotten real. The love between him and Lois Lane is really compelling because it really just shows how much he loves Earth and humanity despite everything he's been through and all his powers. A couple of my favorite stories with him were watching like the 90s Superman cartoon, reading All-Star Superman and the Death of Superman, watching My Adventures with Superman, and of course, I really enjoyed the most recent Superman movie by James Gunn.
Oh, totally.
I have a feeling we're probably going to be talking about Superman some more soon. So I think I'll leave it at that, because I think that just kind of gets my point across, like why I like Superman so much. it's characters like him and Captain America that like show what superheroes like can and should be.
Yeah. Definitely.
Number 3.
My number 3 is Daredevil.
Nice.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of overlap here with these lists, I think.
I'm not surprised. We grew up in very similar environments, as in the same
Yeah.
cul-de-sac. Took in a lot of the same media.
Yeah.
Played a lot of the same games. So I'm not surprised that there's a lot of overlap. That's why I think like Isaac's is like to me the most interesting list, because I don't know what's going to appear on his.
I also grew up in the
Yeah.
same cul-de-sac and consumed the same media, but I'm insane.
That kind of sums it up.
But yeah, I did see very little Daredevil content as a kid, but I always thought he was pretty cool with like his billy clubs and such. It wasn't until I watched the Netflix show that I really got a taste for him.
Yeah. The Netflix show is really good.
Yeah.
I didn't bring it up because I haven't watched all of it.
Me neither. I've seen season 1 and 2, and that's about it.
That's most of what I've seen as well. And I've seen
Yeah.
like pieces of season 3 and bits of Daredevil Born Again, but I haven't watched all of any of it.
Yeah, I might want to go back to that at some point. Especially season 1. Season 1 is
Oh.
fantastic.
I've seen season 1 of Daredevil a few times because I liked it so much.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any
The
of
hallway
it.
fights. The hallway fights are so good.
which is weird, Isaac, because your number 1 is Daredevil. No, that's definitely not Daredevil.
Yeah.
He didn't even make it on my list, and I'm shocked because I do like Daredevil.
I mean, that's the thing. There are just a ton of superheroes out there.
Oh, definitely.
If I did this top 5 list like 2 years from now, my number 1 would almost certainly be there, but everything else could be up in the air potentially.
Oh, definitely. Same here. Like, 2 years from now, I'm probably going to have a Kamen Rider on this list. I just have only seen, the first one.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, that's my number 3.
Nice.
Okay, what's up?
It's you, right, Isaac?
It's-
I'm
Yes, it's
forgetting the
Isaac.
order now.
It's Isaac's turn.
Now, every time so far. Captain America is my number 3,
Very cool.
which I think is what Chelsea was thinking my number 1 was going to be.
Yeah, you actually told me your favorite was Captain America, but I guess since then you've changed your mind.
I had some time to think about it. Captain America is definitely
Yeah.
my favorite Marvel hero. I think that he is a very good representation, similar to Superman, of just the in most of the stories. Sometimes they do some weird
Of
stuff
course.
with him.
But that's the same with Superman too.
Yeah.
Like Zack
Yeah.
Snyder Superman, not a role model.
Yeah. Well, it's got like some special bond with Batman because their moms are both named Martha or whatever.
That's important.
That's important.
Yeah. Anyways, I really like him, and for all the opinions I might have about the MCU, I do think that they did a pretty good job of portraying Captain America, at least in the first few films.
I would say overall, like there's some weird
Yeah.
moments, especially when you break down Civil War and everything. It's not necessarily bad portrayals, but it's kind of like odd portrayals. But again, that's that world's Captain America, and I still think like he's always a force for good in those movies. He's trying to fight for like the overall rights of everybody, and that's what Captain America was always meant to be. That's when you start to he drops the title when he doesn't agree with what America stands for.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's when he becomes characters like Nomad or something.
Yeah.
and that's cool because like he has his values, and you could argue whether they're dated or whatever, but overall he stands for helping people and their freedoms, and that's a big deal. I think the only superhero, arguably a superhero, that stands for freedom more than Captain America does is probably the X-Men, because
Yeah.
they're literally a symbol for whatever group is being oppressed at the time, whether that's like a race or like the LGBTQ community or whatever. So that's the only thing I could argue that's fighting more for freedoms than like Captain America is.
Fair enough. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Plus, it's cool because he's also like his superpowers. You could kind of like imagine yourself in his position, like
Yeah.
especially like in the comic books, he is a human at peak capacity.
Yeah.
It means he's not super strong, but he is as strong as like a regular person can be. He's as fast as a regular person can be, and they play with what that means and everything. But it still feels relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sums up everything pretty well.
Speaking of the X-Men, I'm sorry, side tangent. A friend of mine kind of pointed out that the X-Men almost don't belong in the Marvel universe, with like how they're oppressed and everything, because it's kind of weird how everyone's hung up on the X-Men when like the Hulk exists and like all this other stuff.
People hate the Hulk too.
True, but I mean, like, I feel like he's kind of a bigger thing than X. I don't know. Maybe I'll cut this out.
Oh, I mean, and again, it really depends on the writing and the story at the time.
Yeah.
And it depends on like who has the rights to what. Because for a while, the X-Men just kind of disappeared for a while, and they were really trying to push like the Inhumans, who are just another group of like not mutants. Like they're mutants, but they have to call them something different.
I guess in the Marvel universe, superheroes in general just kind of aren't liked.
For the most part. Like you can look at like J. Jonah Jameson, like hates masked men because like a masked man shot his wife, I believe is the the reasoning behind that. So you get things like that. But he loves Captain America, but that's again like iconography. Everybody knows like Steve Rogers' identity is not a secret. Everybody has always known who Steve Rogers is as Captain America. So what he hates is the vigilante taking things into his own hands. And like sometimes Spider-Man's a menace. Like it depends on who's writing him, but you see him in like the black costume, or you see him in Amazing Spider-Man 1. He starts out like I could see them looking at Spider-Man in the movie going like, that guy's a freaking menace.
Yeah. Or, you know, when he's in his Ayn Rand phase.
Yeah. But again, that says something to Captain America that like in a world where superheroes are questionable, nobody questions Captain America.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I believe we're on number 3 still. So
yes, I believe it's my turn this time.
Yes.
My number 3 is the Blue Beetle. I didn't realize you guys really know who Blue Beetle was. So to hear Blue Beetle on Isaac's honorable mentions was cool. Blue Beetle is one of the most confusing superheroes in superhero history.
Yeah.
The one that everybody knows now is the third Blue Beetle. And the original is from like the 30s and was a complete ripoff of characters like Superman and Batman. And the creator was like, I'm Mr. Comic Book, I'm the guy, and like just crazy. And then through like years, like he got phased out, and a second Blue Beetle got created named Ted Kord, who is a little bit more well known, mentioned a little bit more when it comes to like the new Jaime Reyes characters. He is kind of a mixed bag because he's kind like the original Blue Beetle. Everybody like was was retconned to be an archaeologist and found the scarab in like ancient Egypt, I believe. And everybody thought it was a magic artifact. Uh, Later, Ted Cord like is like gifted it. I think once like the original, I can't remember his name right now. I think it's like Dan Garrett, if I'm correct. Like he dies, and the scarab resurrects itself through Dan Garrett. And Ted Cord is like, I'm not touching this thing. I will honor the original Blue Beetle, but I will not touch the scarab. And so eventually, like, he gets paired up with characters like Booster Gold. He was on the front line when Doomsday took the scene in the Death of Superman fight. He takes a beating. He goes into a coma in that fight. It's crazy. Until eventually Ted Cord dies, and the scarab falls into Jaime Reyes' hands, and they find out the scarab isn't magical. It was a alien device left to attach to somebody to become the world's protector until this alien race can come down and trade with whatever sophisticated beings exist there at the time. But because the scarab had been tampered with by magic so much, its programming is a little off, and so Jaime can like talk to it, and they can kind of learn from each other, and so it's like this, like he's kind of a Peter Parker character, but he trusts a bunch of people with his identity. He like zigs where Peter Parker zags, kind of thing. Like they're same age, similar personality, but they just make totally different choices.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because he's still comedic, but he lets his friends in, he lets his family in. Depending on the writing, you see like his parents want to be close to him, but like his dad is scared of like what the beetle, the scarab, means for him. Like he's scared for his son's life, things like that. And just everything around this character is super cool. They've done stories where all three Blue Beetles meet, and like Ted Cord officially passed the torch to the new one. I liked the new Blue Beetle movie. It wasn't my favorite, but like it was fun. It was a little. I could see them making a Power Rangers movie in that style, and it'd be very true to form, essentially.
Yeah.
But Blue Beetle is one of those characters that like I've never read in a comic book, but every time I see him pop up in media, I find him very interesting. I really liked him in Young Justice. I liked him in the animated Justice League universe they did. He hangs around with the Teen Titans quite a bit. The first time I saw him, I didn't even watch this show, but it was on TV one day, and like I caught an episode of Batman Brave and the Bold, and it happened to be the one with Blue Beetle. And that was the first time I saw this character, and I was like, interesting. Who is this? Who is this guy? And it was fun.
That's also the first time that I saw him.
That's so funny.
And the reason I like the movie so much is because I like the actor they chose to play the character. Yeah. I know him from other media.
He's a really good fit. Yeah, he's one of the leads in Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
So you knew he'd get the action right, and he's just got a good homespun feel to him, which is perfect for Jaime Reyes.
I'm gonna be real. I completely forgot there was a movie.
Which is fair. It was like around for that point, and it was like at the death of the Snyderverse, so like it was not being pushed. There was some talk for a while that version of Blue Beetle might be in like the James Gunn universe that they're making now, but I've seen no talk of that basically since that movie came out.
Yeah,
which would be a shame.
Blue Beetle is like someone I've always been aware of. Well, not always, but for a long time, because I saw a video from like a really big Blue Beetle fan about why Blue Beetle's so great. So I always really liked the design of the third Blue Beetle. That's a really cool look. I like the power set and all that. So, yeah,
and he's again always fighting against the Scarab's nature to kill. He refuses to let that thing kill. Where you see awesome. Like other beetles, like other Scarab users, do not care. They will kill listen to that scare, like the scarab on their back with no resistance. Jaime will not let this thing kill, despite it suggesting that they use lethal force at various times, and like increasingly so as the comic book goes on at certain times, because like its programming starts to kind of like revert as it gets kind of rebooted at one point.
Yeah.
So you really just feel Jaime's good nature, which is just really welcome in a superhero.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, yeah. I know, I like that.
Yeah. Are we up to number 2 now?
We are.
We are.
Wow.
So, of course, my number 2 is Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Understood. It's a good character.
You know,
Somebody
character.
likes him, I bet.
I bet. Someone not here, but...
No. This away.
Yeah, hide your shirt.
Yeah.
But of course, growing up with the Spider-Man movies, and the cartoon and all that, and I actually got really into Ultimate Spider-Man as a kid as well. Those comics.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Those are strong.
Yeah.
Especially like the Craven arc, where it's like so many chapters in, and he finally gets a chance to like talk to the press about what he's about and all that, and as he's like, oh man, people finally understand Spider-Man, and then Aunt May, I said Aunt Gray.
Yeah, you did.
And then Aunt May grounds him, so it's like cool. I finally got my word out that I'm just trying to help, and I can't help now. And that was as far as I got, because I only ever got the first 2 volumes. But yeah,
Okay.
I absolutely love the character. He's always fun. I actually really liked Andrew Garfield's take on the character as well.
He does a good job. It's not perfect, but especially as Spider-Man, he does a really good job.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm questionable on his take of Peter Parker. It's not bad, but he does a decent enough job. Like, you can see Peter Parker in there, but they had to differentiate it from Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker, so I don't blame Andrew Garfield. It was definitely like the script.
Yeah.
But his quips in like Amazing Spider-Man, and especially Amazing Spider-Man 2, like, you feel that character. You feel Spider-Man on that film.
Yeah. But yeah, I actually do like the kind of alternate take on him, where he kind of starts off as just a single-minded vigilante who's like who's kind of a bully, but then the bridge scene happens, and that's when he truly becomes a hero and all that.
Yeah. I actually just watched the first Amazing Spider-Man movie yesterday.
Oh wow.
So like the moment where he like takes his mask off just to make that kid feel better, I was like, that's Peter Parker right there. That's Spider-Man. He knows like that kid doesn't know who he is, so it doesn't matter. He's just like letting the person know like, hey, I'm just a guy too, and I'm here to help you.
Yeah, I love that scene so much. That's probably my favorite scene of the movie.
There is a lot of good things in the Amazing Spider-Man movies. There's a lot of bad things in them too, but
yeah.
I don't hate them. I think they're fine.
I'm really trying to formulate a joke here where I work in for you. You know that song from Spider-Man 2, from Amazing Spider-Man 2.
See, that's one of the bad things that's part of the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Well, if I could erase that song from that movie, I would do it for you.
One of the best things that came out of Amazing Spider-Man 2 was Carl Jr.'s grilled cheeseburger at the time.
Oh.
I'll never forget.
I forgot about that.
I'll never forget. I remember all the marketing on the Carl's Jr. windows. I was like, I've got to try that. Went through the drive-thru. Was like, this is awesome. I love this. Good job, Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I mean, like, my favorite superhero has also inspired a fast food restaurant to make an amazing menu item, which, is Freddy Fazbear. So, that's my favorite superhero.
Of course.
My favorite superhero, Bugs Bunny.
Walter White.
Walter White, gotta love it.
Oh man, I love the man who knocks.
All right. I'm going to move on to my number 2.
Go for it.
It's Green Lantern. Care to take a guess which one?
Jon Stewart?
You got it.
I don't think it's... Oh, it was Jon Stewart?
I
was not guessing Jon Stewart.
I like Jon Stewart the most. I think that it's pretty cool that he doesn't need the ring to use the powers, unlike all of the other Lanterns.
That I didn't even know.
Yep. I also like... he seems more grounded than quite a few of them. Especially,
I would agree with that.
Especially Guy Gardner.
Yeah, I didn't think that was your favorite, but shout out to Guy Gardner for being just like a unique dickhead in the superhero.
And you know what? Shout out to Nathan Fillion for rocking that haircut during that movie.
He sure rocked that haircut.
It was painful to look at.
But you know what? It's painful to look at in the comic books too. So, also, Guy Gardner also got the crap beat out of him by Doomsday.
Nice.
Yeah, his face was trashed.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Hal Jordan used to be my favorite, but
That's who I would have guessed was your favorite.
But I think he's the pretty stereotypical favorite. He's usually seen as like the strongest out of the Earth's Green Lanterns, but I just think the unique ability to not need the ring is really cool. So, and
like I said, I didn't even know that.
And in the Justice League show, I think that he was a pretty cool character, especially, and stood out quite a bit.
Yeah, especially on a rewatch. Like, I didn't really care that much about Jon Stewart the first time I watched Justice League, but like rewatching it, he's a really interesting character. You're right. Like, he does seem a little bit more grounded and street level because like he's been there. Whereas like you get your Hal Jordan, who is like a freaking test pilot. Like, this guy's already going places. I don't know much about Kyle Rayner because while I used to really like him, I realized that where I knew him from was like the Superman cartoon where they just gave him Hal Jordan's backstory. So it was just like Kyle Rayner is the Green Lantern currently, so we want to use him. But like, just give him Hal Jordan's backstory because that's what people are familiar with. So I don't even know that character really. I just like he's got an interesting design to his costume, although the goggles are very 90s.
Yeah.
It's Green Lantern is actually one of my kind of superhero blind spots. I think it's interesting when they are interesting when they show up. I'm a Kilowog man. I like the big hippo with the giant Green Lantern hammers. Love me some Kilowog.
I believe it.
That's not a joke either. I actually really like Kilowog.
I was gonna make a joke earlier when you're saying Thor's not on your list. I was gonna say, oh yeah, that makes sense because Beta Ray Bill is clearly on your list instead.
Beta Ray Bill, again, little blind spot, but Beta Ray Bill's kind of cool.
Yeah.
There was a point where Thor was not Thor. It got passed around a few different people. Kind of strange era to be a Thor fan.
Yeah.
Because that's when you get Beta Ray Bill, and I think the character's name is Thunderstrike, and he's just 90s wearing a leather jacket Thor, with like a club, like they went way edgy with that one, crazy.
Oh man.
Yeah, Green Lantern's also the Lantern Corps in general are a blind spot for me as well. Though thanks to Injustice 2, I am aware of Atrocitus and Dexstar, who I think are both pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do you know Dexstar, Steven?
I think maybe. I'm not sure. I've heard the name for sure.
Dexstar is an Earth black cat who got a Red Lantern ring. Because
Okay.
he was like a street cat who was like abused and such. So, you know, so he's very cute and very angry.
So a cat.
Yeah, so a cat.
Outstanding.
Yeah, and the interesting about the Green Lantern Corps is they're a force for good in the universe that the Guardians sure piss everybody off at some point. The Guardians of Oa, like, it's like if the Jedi Order had like just like complete like they were the police.
Yeah.
And actually, Green Lantern Corps kind of tied to like Blue Beetle's Scarab origin as well. At least a retconned one.
Okay.
Like when Jaime Reyes first gets that Scarab, Guy Gardner like finds him, and the ring just acts on its own and just starts attacking him because of the I can't whatever the alien race that made the Scarab was.
That's
And
interesting.
the reviewer I was listening to was like, which is crazy, but it'd be crazier if the Guardians of Oa didn't piss everybody off at some point. So them having an enemy isn't really surprising.
So I guess that's Steven's number 2 then. Or I guess we're up to Steven's number 2.
Yeah, we're up to Steven's number 2.
Unless you have anything else to add, Isaac.
I do not. I think that we covered it all and added more input into it.
Awesome.